Does Jerry Jones really want a quarterback controversy between Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott? Let's go ahead and find out from the man who put the black t-shirt and the gold chain on the map, Pat McAfee. Pat, take it away.
Questionable swag, obviously, on Cooper Kush. He's a fucking player. Last night made some plays I don't think anybody would expect any backup to make. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. He's delivering the rock, reading the defense. And remember, when Mike McCarthy said, when Dak Prescott went down, the offense doesn't drop too much with Cooper Rush. And Richard Sherman actually got a little bit alarmed for that. And when Richard Sherman saw it, I was like, yeah, that is an interesting thing. You just paid this guy a couple $100 million guaranteed, and then you're saying the backup isn't that far of a drop. Seems like a little bit of a disrespectful thing to say. Now, probably trying to
I think it's kind of true. I mean, I think Dak's at the twilight of his career, I think you could say, especially with all of his injuries. So I think, Dak is not playing at an MVP level. If they believe they see they see Cooper Rush in practice every day. If they believe he's a safe and kind of a game managing kind of guy, then yeah, I don't think the offense would drop off too much. If they believe, like I do, that Dak's best days are behind him. If you believe that Dak Prescott still has those kind of like MVP level years in him, and maybe a different story. But I don't think Dak's there anymore. I think if anything, he's slowly regressing versus building to those old heights he used to have.
Rally Cooper Kush as well, trying to give him a little confidence. But as we're watching him, Cooper Kush might be a fucking guy, dude. There's going to be a lot of teams calling for the old Kush to come sign with him. I think what he did last night was magical. It was fun to watch on the old Monday Night Football.
I've heard a lot of this today. I've heard a lot of like, why aren't teams trying to sign Cooper Rush? I think I'm not sure what the deal is with these backup quarterback apologists in the NFL. A backup quarterback, I heard this a lot in the preseason too, or like Tyler Huntley for the Ravens. People were like, why doesn't blank team just go get Tyler Huntley? He could be a starting quarterback in the NFL. They're answering their own questions. Like he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL because he's not good enough to be. There are very few backups. Of course, we all know the big ones. We all know the Tom Brady's and all that. But very few times is a true backup, not like a guy you drafted and you're waiting, but a true backup. Very rarely does a true backup just all of a sudden emerge as a legitimate starter in the NFL. And I'm not saying that a true backup can't be good in the NFL. I'm saying that a true backup to be good on his team, like obviously a backup can come in like Nick Foles and win a Super Bowl or play good in his system or play good on his team for a short amount of time. Michael Lombardi, former NFL exec, one of my favorite minds of the game, he says that a good backup quarterback should be able to cough twice and go in the game and perform at a high level. That's what a backup quarterback should do. They should be able to, on a moment's notice, be pretty serviceable for 6 weeks. But it's just, to me, it's not really feasible or it's not, I don't want to say possible because anything can happen, but it's not likely that a tried and true backup is going to be a good term, legitimate, long-term starter for not just his team, but another team. So if I was an NFL team, I'd be watching this Cooper Rush situation saying, good for him, have fun, whatever, do your shit for 3-4 weeks, but there's no way in hell I'm pulling a Matt Flynn or a Chase Daniel situation and overpaying some guy like Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
or Cooper Rush. How many Coopers are there? We got Cooper Kush, Cooper Rush, and Cooper Kupp.
Been in the pigskin, and Zeke, it felt like, had his best game in a few years, at least during this season was his best game. Pollard had 100 yards on the ground. CeeDee Lamb, even though he dropped that
Tony Pollard is so much better than Ezekiel Elliott at this point. It's insane.
Deep ball, came back with a nice little one-handed catch. But yeah, to your point, Cooper Kush gives all teams, hope that their backup QB might be able to step in, win some games, and keep the season alive.
Yeah, I think
that's exactly what I just said. Well said, whoever that walking natty light can was. But I 100% agree. Every team should hope that their backup can come in a 4-game spell and go 3-1. 100%. For sure. That should be the goal with backup quarterbacks. People are too quick to argue for the backup quarterback to be the new franchise quarterback. That's not what they're there to do.
So, and people need to be level-headed about it. I don't think anybody expected Cooper Kush to be what Cooper Kush is. except for maybe Jerry Jones. There's a video from Jerry Jones a couple weeks ago on what he was wishing people would be saying in a few weeks after Cooper Kush comes in for Dak Prescott after Dak injures his thumb, and he's maybe out for a week and a half up here in my mind. But doctors are saying maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, up here maybe 1 week. He said this about Cooper Kush in relief for Dak Prescott.
So you'd want that? You'd want that controversy?
Of course I would.
Okay.
Of course that means we'd won. If it comes in there and played as well as Prescott played, Rush played that well over these next games ahead, I'd walk New York to get there.
I love old Jura. I mean, I love how he's just such an old school, Southwest football guy, calling people by their last name. He probably doesn't even know Cooper Rush's first name. Just Rush. Prescott. That boy. I mean, it's just, and look. I mean, he looks 21 years old. I mean, this guy looks young. He looks spry. Jerry's looking great. Love me some Jerry Jones. Yeah, I mean, unbelievable.
Do you think he can do that?
Well, I don't know that, but I would. You can't find on record where I said I thought Dak Prescott could do it when he stepped in and had the chance to do that, but he did it.
Hey, he said.
I'll say this: a lot of people are giving Jerry flack here for that, but it makes total sense to me. You want a quarterback controversy because that means your quarterbacks are both playing well. And if they're both playing well enough to warrant a controversy, then your team's probably playing pretty well. And obviously, Jura is saying that he just would rather have an embarrassment of riches than no quarterback controversy, which means Cooper Rush shit all down his leg and went 0-3 or whatever, and they're begging for Dak Prescott to get back. That's the dream. The dream is we don't need to rush Dak Prescott back because Cooper Rush is, and all these words are like blending together. Rush and Dak Prescott back, Cooper Rush this, Cooper Kupp this, Cooper Kush this. But the dream is don't rush Dak back, let him heal because Cooper Rush has this thing under control. We're 7-2 with Cooper Rush, so Dak heal up and then we'll figure it out later. So yeah, every team obviously would like a quarterback controversy, even the team with the best quarterbacks out there. If Aaron Rodgers has to go take 2 plays off and whoever is backup at the time goes in and lights it up, goes 2 for 2 at 475 yards and 8 touchdowns, the Packers would love it because if nothing else, that's a trade asset. That's something that they can use. So I totally understand what Jerry's saying, and all these incel cuck nobodies who just don't understand what Jerry's saying. It's just kind of sad.
Said, listen, I'm not. You can go check what I talked about when Dak came in for old Tony Romo. I never once fucking said he's going to be a guy, but I hope he's a guy. Mm-hmm. He just said he was hoping there's a QB controversy. The beginning of the question was kind of cut off there. I should have led into it better. But basically the conversation was, what if Cooper Rush comes in and plays very well? Will there be a quarterback controversy? And Jerry goes, I fucking hope. That means he played good. He is playing very good. We have AQ Shipley joining us live on studio, and obviously we'll go in the trenches later today. Dak Prescott's an unbelievable quarterback. There's no reason for anybody to think that Cooper Rush is going to out Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I mean, there's a different. I think that's another thing too. Is that Jerry? Obviously, Dak is the franchise. They paid him a ton of money. Obviously, he's the franchise guy. There's no question there. There isn't a quarterback controversy. It's the same with Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. It doesn't matter how good Jacoby Brissett is playing. When Deshaun Watson can play, he's playing. Why? I've got 248 million reasons why, and about 60 pissed off masseuses why. He's playing. They have him. He's playing. Dak Prescott, same deal. If Cooper Rush goes 5-0 and Dak Prescott's available, he's got 100+ million reasons why he's playing. He will be the guy. So don't confuse a quarterback controversy with a potential change at quarterback.
As the starting quarterback for the Cowboys, especially with the amount of money that he's been paid by the Cowboys and everything like that. I think Cooper, though, has proven that he could probably play somewhere, AQ. Don't you think? You've been around a long fucking time in this league. I feel like the way he's playing, his composure, feels like his teammates believe in him. He's making big plays when he needs them. 3 straight starts, 3 fourth-quarter drive comeback wins. I guess he's the only player in the history of the game that's ever done that. He might be a fucking guy, AQ.
Hey, he's doing really, really nice things for that team. He's leading the team. That's what you want from a quarterback. He's not turning the ball over. He's doing exactly what you want. And they may want a controversy, but they might get something in return for this guy at some point.
That's what I just said, AQ. You know, even if you have him and people want to overpay for him or overtrade for him, whatever. And we saw in the first game with Geno Smith, right? Like, if you just watch that game, especially specifically the first half, you're probably thinking, damn, Geno Smith could be a starting quarterback for 10 teams in the NFL. And then you watch a little more and you're like, nah, never mind. He's still Geno Smith. So let's hold off on trying to trade for and hand the keys to the franchise over to Cooper Rush. That's all I'm saying. Great job so far, but let's slow down.
Oh, so no controversy. Maybe there's a conversation for a couple weeks when Dak comes back. If Dak isn't 1,000% and Cooper Kush continues to do what he does. Trade deadline's coming up, though. You know, and if you can get something big and Jerry might see a little bit of a move, there's numerous teams that are already thinking to themselves, fuck, we're already out of it. Maybe we can get a quarterback in there. Cooper Rush really building up that stock. We're not saying he's going to trade him. We're just talking about the number of outcomes that could.
I don't ever see that either. Like, that's another thing that never happens is a team out of it makes a trade deadline deal for a backup quarterback. They would much rather just wait, go into the draft process, see what's going on, see free agency, do all that before trading for a backup quarterback. And that's another thing too. Like, the Dallas wouldn't really have any leverage. You know, like how's Dallas going to say no? You know, we're holding on to our backup. I mean, they're about to hand Jimmy G off for like a 4th round pick. What do you really think you're going to get for Cooper Kupp? God damn it. Cooper, what's his name? Cooper Rush.